Hey guys, got a quick battle report here for you. I've been toying around with making a 2,500 point army. It uses Black Knights, kind of a reaction to my standard army that hasn't really been working out too well for me. As you can see in the picture here, I don't have that many Black Knights, so I have to use Bretonia quite a bit. But I threw a list together, had kind of an idea what I wanted to do. My buddy came over, took a glance at it, and said, I'm going to throw some Empire together. So he made 2,500 points as well. We rolled it up, got the battle line. So here's what I was trying to do. You can see I've got my main battle line here. It's got the Mortis engine. It's got some hidden stuff like ghouls. That's kind of standard for me. But I gave them the Book of Archon and hopefully wanted Van Hells with them so that they could be moving up faster than expected. And then what I wanted on the other flank was the scary flank. I wanted a bunch of Black Knights and some Blood Knights with a Vampire to be moving up quicker to take the focus off right away and actually divide their force a little bit. And then hopefully if I can draw a little attention toward those guys, I can outmaneuver and then slam in with my main horde. That's what I was going for. Part of the problem I had here was that he had about 5 war machines and 2 master engineers, so I had to deploy everything before he even laid any infantry down. That's the way it goes. I deployed it as best I could, but that's why in front of my knights is everything that he wanted. Terrain doesn't really come into effect except for that fulcrum there is the Tower of Blood, so that's going to give Frenzy. The one in the middle is a Dwarven Brewhouse, and then on the far side here was a Wizard's Tower. Going down my line here, my ghouls, a horde of them, about 40-some. I've got Skeleton Bunker with a level 4, Master Necromancer in there, Mortis Engine with the upgrade there. I've got Crypt Horrors, Dogs, and then 12, I think it's 11 Black Knights with a White King BSB in there. The White King BSB is sporting the War Banner, so he's bringing +1 combat res, plus he's a BSB, and then the unit has a banner as well, but the unit has the +1 to hit for the White's banner, the Banner of the Barrows. So I want that one not to just be, rubber lances. I wanted to provide some CR. Then I've got 5 more Dogs and 5 Blood Knights. I gave them the expensive 75-point banner, 4 up versus ranged attacks, 4 up ward save, but I don't know if I'll take that in the future. The Green Knight model is my Vampire. He's got Red Fury, he's mounted obviously, and I think I made him a level 2, yeah. So my Empire player has 2 mortars and a cannon up on that hill. He's got, at least I believe that's it. It could be the other way. It could be 2 cannons and a mortar. I don't remember. But he has a horde of halberdiers with his BSB and a warrior priest in there. He has a war altar with a warrior priest on it, and that's what the chariot is. I didn't really know what that thing was. Kind of got in a spot with it, but you'll see that going forward. He's got a little bunker with a frontage of 3 for his wizards. He did that so he could put his wizards in the second row. He's got a level 1 and a level 4, the Laura Light. Another horde of halberdiers, pistoliers, the steam tank, or the stank. And then the hell cannon is a cannon, and that is a rocket battery is the other thing. And he's got a master engineer with them. So deployment doesn't really go my way, but what are you going to do? So we get started. He gets the first turn, and he moves up, as you see here. He's just moving his pistoliers up. Pretty much nobody else moves, and there's no charges. During Magic, he's able to get Foz protection off on his big area, but I kind of dispelled everything else. I'm not too worried about that in first turn. For shooting, I know you see a Mortis engine there in the lower right, but there is no Mortis engine after shooting. His first cannon takes aim, hits. I fail my regen, and it rolls 6 wounds. That happens to me all the freaking time lately. And it's really hard not to get pissed at the table when that happens, because it's just 250 points that I'm just out right away. And I had plans for that thing. I really like it. I think what I'm going to do now, just for my own sanity, is if there's a chance I'm going to fight an army that has cannons, I'm not going to take the Mortis engine. It's a large target. You can't really screen it very well. You can try, but it's big. It's easy to hit, and it's just, if he's got 2 cannons, I think by turn 2 you're not likely to have that thing anymore. Just too dang dangerous. So otherwise for shooting, he shoots 11. I think like 11 or 10 crypt ghouls. 2 dogs get killed on the right side or on the left side, but that's about it. During my turn 1, no charges. I'm not going to be able to catch that fast cav, so we'll just ignore them. They'll shoot a little bit, but big deal. I'm moving up, and it decided to move this flank around to the left. I'm going to have to go through the building, but I think if I try to move my knights closer to this flank, I'm just going to get shot all day long. So, got to move quick. During Magic, let me see. he was able to dispel Winds of Death from my caster in his bunker. I tried to send it right into that group there. He dispelled that. That would have been kind of nice. He dispelled Van Hills twice, which sucks because that was kind of what I was going for. And I was able to heal one dog back with my remaining dice. And that's about it. I think you can see the dog's back. Empire turn 2. Pistoliers move back. You know, they've got pretty good movement. That's just what they're going to do. No charges at all. Steam Tank generates points and moves up. During Magic, it's 4-2, and he fails to cast, which is pretty awesome. So the Magic phase is just pretty much out. I think he might have got something off his Warrior Priest, but it wasn't a big deal. I felt really good there because I'm going to be behind the Magic phases, and I don't quite realize that yet. During shooting, a cannon kills 2 Black Knights. Not a big deal. Rocket Battery shoots, kills 5 skeletons, and the cannon puts 2 wounds on the Crypt Horrors you can see there. And then 2 dogs die from the mortar again. They're going up and they're going down. That's what the board looks like. Okay, Vampire turn 2. No charges, but I position my guys this way. I'm like, okay, he's not moving up at all. He wants me to come to him. So what I'm going to do is move those Blood Knights around to the side. I'm going to get them here, and then I'm going to Van Hels them up and over. But sadly, it's not going to work so well for me. I wasn't able to get Van Hels off, even throwing all my dice at it. And so but that did draw the Dispel Scroll, so there is something good there. I put the dogs where you see there. I'm still kind of trying to learn how to screen them better. I know the concept, but for some reason, you know, I've only really played for a year and a half, but for some reason I thought that they were going to get to hit those dogs. They were going to come straight onto those dogs, and my Blood Knights would be on their side. That was my backup in case I couldn't get Van Hels off. That's not how it works, though. He gets to pick his angle he comes in at, so he was able to set up a nice, juicy charge. Otherwise, my Black Knights were there. I wanted them close enough, and I didn't think any of the hordes could charge. I didn't really know what the War Banner or what the War Altar was, and I learned that the hard way here. Otherwise, everything else is just dispelled on my turn. My guys are moving up like this. My caster goes into the building. He's going to do that and stay there away from cannon shots and mortars as best he can. And just another shot. Okay, Empire turn 3. Sadly, everything I didn't want happened here. His horde charges the dogs. They're going to get a nice overrun in. But it's going to be a bloody combat. It's not the charge I want. So, I mean, Blood Knights are still going to be fantastic, but they're not strength 7 because they're not charging. The Black Knights get charged by the War Altar there. And he couldn't get his other horde in to help, so his other horde charged the dogs, and they're going to probably get into combat with the Crypt Horrors over there. His other bunker just moves up. Otherwise, the Steam Tank kind of moves up and generates. During Magic, he rolls boxcars. It was awful. So it's 12 dice to 7. And I was like, oh no, I'm in big trouble. He tries to get Frost Protection off on the Area of Effect spell on everyone, but fails to cast, which was awesome. I'm like, the Magic turn is done. Hey, I'm in a good spot again. But sadly, he had so many other little spells that I didn't really count on or expect from the Warrior Priest and the War Altar. He was actually able to do some stuff. He threw a bunch of dice at Time Warp, and I had to draw my Dispel Scroll for that because that was going to suck. He did get like the Hammer of Sigmar off, and I forget what other little prayers, but it ended up being a meaningful Magic phase, even with his level 4 just totally out of it. During shooting, his Pistoliers kind of pick off some guys. The Steam Tank misfires and takes 3 wounds, which is the only wounds I think I've ever seen that thing take. So that's pretty great. Otherwise, it's just a little shooting all around. Whoever's not in combat's not a big deal. As you can see, the dogs were wiped out. That's not the right picture. As you can see here, the dogs are wiped out. They go into combat with the Blood Knights. Like you see, the War Altar sitting there. I think after combat, it was even, I believe. His impact hits and killed 3. I think his impact hits killed 2, and then my champion was challenged, so I accepted with my champion, not my BSB. And but when all was said and done, put 1 wound on him, and with the CR I had, I think we were even. I don't believe I crumbled at all. So he's got 1 wound on him, and he has a 4-up ward save on the guy that's on that altar. So that's going to be a tough, and it's also unbreakable. I find out, kind of bad. Otherwise, the other dogs on the right side just get wiped out as well, and they go into the Crypt Horrors there. That's what it looks like. So Vampire turn 3. Pretty much no real movement. I'm moving the ghouls around to the side, but we get in a battle here. During Magic, I try to cast Invocation of Heck, and it's dispelled on the Black Knights. Tried to cast Van Hells and tried to cast Hellish Vigor for the rerolls, and both those were dispelled. But I was able to get Invocation to Heck on the ghouls, it was just my last few dice. During close combat, I lose 2 Blood Knights, but it's a bloodbath. That horde is way lower. I mean, I was very impressed with those guys. I've kind of been afraid to use them in the past because they're so expensive, and they're just magnets for all focus. But man, I really like them, especially with that vampire in there, getting all his attacks. It was pretty great. But they stick. I mean, they're steadfast. It's not a big deal. But I lose 2. Hopefully, maybe I can get 1 back or something. I think it's even on the Black Knights as well. Although he charges, or I'm sorry, he challenges again, and the only one I can accept with is my White King, and so I get locked into combat there. He uses it's Van Horstman's Speculum. So when my White King's in combat or in a challenge with this guy, he gets to swap my base stats. And my stats are better than his. So he swaps those and isn't able to do a wound on me, but he maintains his strength bonus from his greatsword and his ward save and all that stuff. So that kind of sucks. I'm going to be locked in a challenge with him, my White King, and I do not want that unless I can roll, killing blow or something. But it came out and surprised the crap out of me. In fact, I'd never seen that magic item before. Otherwise, in other combat, this is what it looks like. There's still only 1 wound out there. This is where the ghouls are moving up to try to get around and help out, but they're getting chased by the Pistoliers. I'm sorry, this was Empire turn 4. Yeah, so in Empire turn 4, he moves his guys up here. He gets Faw's Protection off in the magic phase, the Area of Effect one, and I can't do anything about it. And he gets Speed of Light cast on the Horde here, these guys, which is just gonna be brutal. Shooting is just hitting little skeletons of my bunker in the building, so it's not a big deal. But as you can see here, 1 Blood Knight dies, and he combat reforms to get more ranks, but he is getting whittled down. I don't think they're gonna win that unless I make a mistake. Otherwise, the challenge goes on with Van Horstman's Speculum, and the BSB dies from it. It should be noted that from now on, my opponent was kind of just moaning for me because he was rolling really well in all his rerolls and with the Speed of Light and everything, and I couldn't make a save, I couldn't hit back for anything. So that factored in. I mean, that happens in Warhammer all the time. That's everyone's story, but it should be known that it was pretty bad. So I'm losing some guys there. No one left to challenge in the Black Knights. Otherwise here, they've got Speed of Light, so I lose a couple Crypt Horrors there. And with bad rolling. So here's Vampire turn 4. The ghouls actually can make a charge, and they make a charge into the Halberdiers. Probably actually wasn't a good idea now that I think about it, because I give him more soft targets, and he's all buffed up. But I wanted to get in and see what I could do. During Magic, Invocation to Heck goes off from my caster. I was able to get it off Irresistible, so I was able to bring back, I wonder if I have a picture of it. Yeah, 5 Black Knights, 11 ghouls, healed a wound from, I think I got a few of the horrors back, and then healed 1 wound from the horrors after that, and then 8 skeletons. So it was a big swing in Magic, and it was pretty great. However, I miscast, and the miscast does 1 wound to each of the casters. So that vampire over there is sitting with 1 wound on him. That kind of stinks. No shooting on my side, obviously. During close combat, I win, but that altar is unbreakable. So it's just going to stick around. My guys are locked for the rest of the game. I killed his BSB and just biffed a ton of armor saves. I don't know why I wrote that down. He must have biffed a ton of armor saves or something like that. But I killed the BSB with the Blood Knights and win combat massively, and they still hold. I think I made a mistake here and sent the vampire after the BSB in his group, so it limited the amount of wounds he had, but I wanted to get that reroll out of there. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably should have just hit the chaff. But that's how that goes. Over here, I think this is after Magic and not after combat. Yeah, that's after combat. So this is what it looks like going into Empire turn 5, and this is the end of the game here. He was able just to mop up guys on his turn and just slice him in half. I mean, there's nobody left. They killed the ghouls down to a man. The Blood Knights finally died. and my Black Knights are stuck there. So this is pretty much the end of the game. During this turn, the reason it went so bad, again, because I rolled really poorly, and he rolled boxcars for Magic again. He had two Magic phases in a row with boxcars, and I was only able to dispel Foss Protection. He got Speed of Light, the Horde off, he got or the Area Effect off, he got Time Warp off. It was really bad, and the mortar was shooting my guy in the building. So pretty much everyone died or crumbled, and this is what it was left with at the end of the game. So it was a really one-sided game. I felt it had to swing back to the vampires when I cast that big spell. It looked like I was going to win, but it really ended up being painful that I lost the Mortis Engine in the beginning, but then right after that had to just get shot at all game, get into combat, and then I'm constantly behind in the Magic phase. That really was the problem I felt here. But